At the top of the show, we mentioned the back and forth that went on between some summer programs for public school students and the city administration. First, the money was there, then it wasn't, and finally, after a lot of people got angry, it was given back. But the reason the funding was initially taken away in the first place, it was supposed to be redirected to the system's lowest performing schools.
So the happy ending for summer programs isn't such good news for others, or is it? We don't know yet. Leaving open a lot of questions about how Bill de Blasio's huge budget affects children and the need for more investments in early childhood education and after-school programs. Here to discuss this are Gregory Brender, co-director of policy and advocacy at United Neighborhood Houses, New York. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And Christy Hodgkins, program director at Canva. Thank you for being here as well. So let's kind of like just create some context and get it cleared up, because I thought, you know, after reading some things, that because the money was given back to the summer programs, then it was then taken away from the underserving schools that were expecting some funding. But your organization actually was one of those that received a letter saying, hey, here you go, here's some money, and then like, oh yeah, sorry, we didn't mean to. So how did that play out for you guys?
So back in March, we did get letters saying that we had gotten grant awards for our 2 sonic programs in Brooklyn, one at Huddy Junior High, one at Walt Whitman Middle School. And of course, we were very excited. And because even by late March, that's very late to be planning for summer, we, started hiring staff to work there. We got enrollment forms out to families. And then, I can still remember the Friday afternoon in May where we got an email from the funder saying, how sorry they were that the funds were no longer available and we weren't going to be able to run those camps for our middle school students. And we were like, what?
Yeah, I can only imagine.
And where does it stand now, currently, with the summer only a few days away?
So, I mean, the great news is about a week or 2 ago, after a lot of advocacy, we received notification that the summer funding for those programs, has been reinstated. So we are moving forward with planning for those camps for our middle school students, and we're very, very happy about that, and so are the kids and their parents.
Okay, so Gregory, let's go back over to you. Now, what did that mean for the underserving schools? Did they lose their money, or how did that all play out?
No, the schools called the renewal schools, which Mayor de Blasio is making new investments in to improve their performance, did not lose out any money because of this investment. Okay. Deputy Mayor Richard Bheard and DYCD Commissioner Bill Chong both testified before the City Council on this, that no other initiative was impacted by this restoration of funds for the summer programs.
Okay, so then what was the confusion?
We really don't know what caused this cut to take place, and we're really grateful that within a short time frame, the mayor and particularly and also the City Council, which really took a lot of action, particularly Council members Matthew Eugene, who chairs the Youth Services Committee and is from here in Brooklyn, and Council member Julissa Ferreras, who chairs the Finance Committee, and many others, really pushed for this to happen, not just in the budget, but before the budget, so that programs would have at least a modicum of time to plan and make sure that these programs got in place by this summer.
Okay.
So Christy, does this mean, what does this mean in terms of how well the summer programs are funded, or like how much more money they might need, or how successful we are moving forward with these summer programs this year?
Well, I mean, we think that just knowing when we did that the funding had been restored is very, very important, like Gregory said, because we do need time to plan. We're still running our after-school programs now. We run them through June 25th, and then we're supposed to start these camps on July 6th. I think for us, and it's sort of a little bit of a different issue where we're feeling a real hit with the funding, and that is for some of the Compass programs, which are programs for elementary school age children, and those programs actually, some that were just awarded, are funded at a lower rate. And that is a real negative impact for us for summer because we're getting a lower rate, and then for a lot of providers like Canva, we were able in the past to serve a lot more children, and so the number of slots we got have also been cut. So in getting a lower rate and reducing our capacity is really a huge problem for us for the summer and moving into next school year.
Okay, a quick follow-up question. What can you tell us about your organization, Canva, and where it stands in general?
Sure, in terms of what we do.
In terms of the funding.
Oh, in terms of the funding. So, we are really impacted by a lot of it. We run 6 of the Compass Elementary programs. We have 2 Sonic programs. I'm not sure how much we're going to talk about Beacon Community Centers and Cornerstones, but we run those also. And, you know, had some of the summer funding not already been restored, we were, across our agency, going to lose capacity to serve about 500 children. So we have that back, and we're very pleased, but we are still feeling a negative impact with a lot of our elementary programs. And an added issue, believe it or not, with only 16 business days till summer, about half our camps have no location yet.
Yeah, we were confused about that. So who is the one who assigns these locations for you?
And why aren't they working on this, or why aren't they on the ball?
You know, this is a challenge every summer. You know, our funder, the Department of Youth and Community Development, works very diligently with the Department of Education to determine, you know, where these programs are going to be. As you may know, the Department of Education closes some buildings in the summer, right? Because they don't have the same capacity needs as they do during the school year. And in our case, you know, maybe every summer we've had to relocate a couple programs. Which is a challenge. This summer, the way it's turning out, it looks like maybe 3/4 of our programs are going to have to relocate. And what that means is like lifting up a program office and moving it someplace else. But knowing where we're going, that would be fine. The biggest challenge in this moment is having camps with no location. And if you think about the impact of that, things like, you know, a parent trying to decide, should they enroll their child? They don't know what the location is. Can they drop their kid off in time to get to their job? Right. For us in hiring staff, to be able to tell staff, this is the location you're going to work in. Do you know? Are you close to a train station? Things like that. You know, it makes it really, really challenging not to know where we're going to be. And one other tidbit, maybe the general public is not aware of, is that although these are Department of Education schools, and typically it is the children from these schools who are attending the programs, for us as community-based organizations, we are governed by a different regulator, the Department of Health. So these programs that run in public schools have to be licensed, inspected by the Department of Health before we can operate. And you know, the Department of Health would have liked us to tell them the location 60 days ago.
No, you can't tell something that you don't have, right?
Absolutely.
So let's get back to you, Gregory, and let's get your input on, is this cut in money, how do you foresee this impacting kids who need these services?
Well, fortunately for this case, it was restored for this year, but in the next year, the funding is not there yet, and we're going to continue to need to work to make sure that next year there are summer programs, and that there are summer programs in time to make sure that they can be quality programs.
But what we have now, is it enough for even to get through this summer?
Okay. I think it's really important to note, though, there's an incredible relief that these programs were saved. We have a lot of work to do, and we have a lot of work to do in this budget, which is due at the end of this month, to ensure that we have stable and strong, high-quality early childhood education and after-school systems. In the early childhood system, we still have tremendous needs in terms of the early childhood workforce. The teachers and staff who are working in programs that serve kids 0 to 4 are paid significantly less than similarly qualified teachers working in pre-K programs in the Department of Education and other community-based organizations.
I don't want to cut you off, but when you say early school, that's before pre-K?
That includes 0 to 3.
Okay, sorry.
In programs that are managed under what's called Early Learn in the Administration for Children's Services. These are community-based programs serving low-income families, and the teachers teaching those kids, teaching in generally the poorest kids, are themselves receiving salaries that are sometimes $10,000 or $15,000 lower than teachers with the same qualifications in the public schools.
And what about, you know, people that work on these summer programs? Some of them are not DOE workers, so are they less compensated? They don't have health insurance, sort of?
The packages vary based on the community-based organization, but yes, they're a lot lower compensation than one would be in Department of Education employee.
Wow.
So what are the ideal steps that we need to move forward with this, not just this summer, but in the future? I mean, we know Mayor de Blasio watches this show. Christy, is there something that you would say to him right now, speaking not only for yourself, but for Canva and for all the summer programs that need help?
Sure. You know, I think that having to fight for funding, having less funding than we thought we were going to get, it just leads to so much instability. It leads, you know, and what we're worried about the most is for our kids and for their parents. you know, and for our own staff, worrying about, do I have a job? Do I not have a job? They said I had a job, then they said I didn't, but now they want me to work. And we lose good people that way, right? So, you know, I'm most concerned about our elementary programs that the slots have been cut, and we're going to have 25 to 30% fewer kids that we can serve next year. And that's a real problem for families. And, you know, I think the administration has wanted there to be consistency. And if in every year you're facing a budget cut and you don't know what you can do and you don't find out until the last minute, it makes it very hard for families. We want people to be out and working, and they can't depend on these services the way they need to if there's this much instability.
Yeah, you just need to be able to plan the logistics of your life, for goodness sake. Like, even as a single person, I need to know what's going on. When do I need to be there? You know, are
for
you
my
going
own
to be
two children, I had to plan months
imagine,
ago. You know?
Yeah. So
And even with those programs we do have, they're not serving all the children.
That's right.
We need more capacity in both systems. Mayor de Blasio came into office with a great vision, some of which has really been achieved, about ensuring a pre-K slot for every 4-year-old, an after-school slot for every middle school student. We want to ensure that every child in New York City has access to high-quality early childhood education, not just at age 4, not just for pre-K, but before that, as also after school, including elementary school. So we need to work both in this budget and most likely in future budgets on ensuring that we continue to expand these systems and don't see any contractions at the least, but really reach out to the thousands and thousands of children who are not getting services now.
Right, you want it to expand, not contract.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, everyone is really excited about universal pre-K, and you did just mention it, and that's a great thing that's happened. Now, do you think that that's going to be sustainable going forward? Is that a year-by-year thing as well?
I think we are going to continue to have universal pre-K. I think that we're developing a culture where it's accepted in New York City that one participates in pre-K, and you've seen that in a program that's now only 2 years old, achieving an enrollment of around 70,000 kids.
That's incredible.
Well, we hope they continue to make strides in all the education, and especially the summer programs. Christy from Canva, Gregory from Neighborhood Houses NY, thank you very much for being here. Please come back again sometime soon.
Oh, we'd love to.
Anytime. Thank you.